Jesus' miracles are not only found throughout the Gospels, but they also include historical details that strengthen their credibility. These are not vague or generalized reports. Many accounts offer specific information that invites scrutiny, even from contemporaries of Jesus. For example, when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, the Gospel names Lazarus explicitly. That level of detail meant that people living at the time could verify or challenge the claim. It wasn't presented as a myth or legend, it was rooted in real names and places, allowing first-hand investigation. Moreover, the style of the miracle narratives is sober and direct, nothing like the embellished and mystical stories found in later, non-canonical writings. Scholar Stephen Davis noted this contrast. Take the story of Jesus turning water into wine at the wedding in Cana. This account includes details that would seem counterproductive if someone were trying to fabricate a tale to promote Jesus. For instance, the way Jesus responded to his mother seems unusually stern. "Woman, why do you involve me?" John 2, verse 4. Including that kind of comment doesn't flatter Jesus. Nor would early Christians likely invent a story that could fuel accusations that Jesus was a glutton and a drunkard, as some already alleged in Matthew 11, verse 19. This kind of authenticity, where difficult or awkward details are still preserved, points to genuine reporting rather than constructed myth. Another layer of confirmation comes from Jesus' opponents. In John chapter 3, a Pharisee named Nicodemus, part of the Jewish ruling council, said to Jesus, "Rabbi, we know you are a teacher who has come from God, for no one could perform the miraculous signs you are doing if God were not with him." John 3, verse 2. Here is an admission from someone not yet a follower, affirming that even among the religious elite, Jesus' miracles were acknowledged. It was not just his disciples who were saying these things. Even skeptics within his own family and among former enemies were eventually convinced by his supernatural power. The Apostle Paul, who once persecuted Christians, became one of Christianity's most fervent advocates after encountering the risen Jesus. In 1 Corinthians 15, verses 7 to 8, Paul mentions how James, who had also been skeptical of Jesus, and Paul himself became believers because of witnessing the resurrected Christ. Not only that, but there are even non-Christian sources from antiquity that acknowledge Jesus' miracles, though they may attempt to explain them differently. The ancient Jewish Talmud, for instance, includes references to Jesus, accusing him of sorcery. While the intention was to undermine him, these hostile sources still affirm that Jesus performed supernatural acts. They didn't deny the deeds, they merely tried to discredit the source of his power. Similarly, in Islam, Jesus is recognized as a prophet who performed miracles, including raising the dead. Norman Geisler pointed out that while Muhammad refused to perform miracles when challenged, the Quran acknowledges Jesus' miraculous powers. This external acknowledgement, even from competing worldviews, is striking. There's also a fascinating claim made by Justin Martyr in the 2nd century. He wrote that an official Roman document called the Acts of Pilate confirmed both Jesus' crucifixion and several of his healing miracles. Although we no longer have access to this document, Justin encouraged his readers to verify his claims by examining it. That's a bold challenge, one that suggests he believed the evidence would support his account. All of this leads toward the most dramatic miracle of all, Jesus' resurrection from the dead. And it's this final climactic event that we'll explore next, because it not only reinforces Jesus' supernatural identity, but stands as one of the most historically attested events in ancient history.